So what we're going to do next is we're going to actually talk a bit about the story and how the game progressed, kind of like our movie reviews. So spoilers are coming up. We're going to start off with the opening of the game.
Yeah, the opening you play as Joel's daughter, Sam. And he gets home from work, and it's his birthday. Like, that's like, the apocalypse happens on his birthday.
Happy birthday, Joel.
Yeah. And so, like, she gives him a present, and they sit and watch TV, and they, like, make some jokes. Like, you really get a feeling that, you know, it's a good family and everything. And then she's woken up in the middle of the night by a call from her uncle. And then the line just goes dead, and she gets up to go find her dad. So you're playing as her, and then, like, stuff starts happening, and, like, you know, a neighbor crashes through the window all raging and everything. But the whole time you're playing as her and watching this happen. Then you're, like, he grabs you and takes you and puts you in the back of the truck. The actual storyline here is great, because the closest thing I can think of is the opening of the new Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
It's very similar to that, where you're, like, driving through the apocalypse, seeing everything go to shit until you crash. And when you crash, all of a sudden it switches, and you start playing as Joel. And she's broken her leg, so you're carrying her. And, like, you hand your gun to your younger brother. So he's, like, running around, like, you know, trying to lead you to safety as you just do nothing but carry her, because you can't do anything else. And you're running through, like, all these scared people running, and there's, like, you know, other people, like, because you can't tell who's infected at this point, because it's, like, they're not, like, huge fungus heads or anything yet.
Mm-hmm.
So you just, like, see, like, people, like, jumping on other people.
Or on fire, or like, cars rolling down hills on fire.
Or cars smashing into gas stations, and, like, there's, like, cars crashing all over the place, and, yeah, it's really awesome. And then you manage to make it to the edge of the city, and you run into this soldier. And like, you're being chased at this point. Like, you're just running full out because there's, like, several of the infected behind you. And he shoots them. They're like, oh, thank you. We have to get out of here. And he radios into HQ. He's like, I got a couple civilians here. And then he's like,
but they have a little
sir,
girl.
There's a little girl. And he's like, yes, sir. And he just raises his gun. And you're just like,
and Joel's just like, it's like, listen, like, we'll just go. Yeah. And then, like, you don't have to do anything. And then it's like, the soldier's just silent and just pointing his gun at him. He's like, oh shit! And then he just basically, like, turns to try and shield.
Yeah, like, kind of, like, rolls away as the guy fires a few times. Yeah. And then, like, Joel falls down. He's like, please, please. As, like,
and then Tommy, his brother,
comes
up beside him and bang, shoots him in the head.
Shoots the soldier in the head.
And then basically they're sitting there, and you can hear the daughter, like, in the background crying.
The brother, like, looks over, and is like, oh no.
Yeah, and then Joel, like, goes over, and basically she dies in his arms.
Yeah, she got shot in the stomach.
And cue the point where...
Yeah, at that point, it's just like, boom! It just, like, flash cut to just, you know, The Last of Us, and then the opening credits. It's just like, ah.
Yeah, and then it's like new stuff in the background.
Yeah, the new stuff kind of explaining how it happened. And it's like how there's this like anti-government group called the Fireflies, because basically the military took over everything, and they want to bring back the actual government. And then boom! It's like Joel wakes up on a couch, and it's like summer, 20 years later. And then it goes through the part where it, like, introduces, you know, the new world and also the game mechanics. But yeah, that is the opening of the game, and it is stark.
Yeah.
Like, when that happens, it's just like, ooh, that's...
Shit's already getting real.
Yeah. It's just long enough. Like, it's in no way at all boring. Even though, like, there's really nothing you can do other than, like, look around, you know, wander your house. There's nothing to do there. But it's still interesting. It's still exciting. The atmosphere and the storytelling is really good.
Yeah,
and it gives you enough of a feel for their relationship that when she dies, it actually matters.
Yeah, it makes you feel something, like
a
already.
lot more than a lot of deaths in, you know, movies will.
Yeah. There's even a point where, like, you're walking around the house and there's a newscast on, and then you walk down the stairs, you hear a dog barking, and as you're investigating, all of a sudden it's like, arr, arr,
yeah,
like, and they're just like, what the hell has happened? Like, the girl is, like, actually reacting to the sounds in the environment.
Yeah.
And then, you know, Joel run in, and he's like, the neighbors, they're crazy, they're sick, and then it comes crashing through the window, and then, like, the daughter's, like, in shock. He's like, you just shot him. I was just talking to him this morning, and, like, all this other stuff. It was just so well done.
And it continues to be that well done for the rest of the game.
So they're in the quarantine zone, and basically they go on a... It's basically the tutorial mission.
Yeah, it's... Joel has become a smuggler. So they live in Boston. Like, he's originally from Texas. The opening happens in Texas. But now, somehow, over the 20 years, he's ended up in Boston. And there's one section of Boston that they've walled off, and that's the safe zone where they live. And it's like spread off into like military cordoned off checkpoints for the different sections and everything. And he makes his living by smuggling stuff in and out from outside in the infested wasteland. He has a partner who basically, well, the other partner, Robert.
Oh, Robert, yeah.
Yeah, it's they have this partner who has sold their guns. And so he's kind of gone rogue, and they're going to deal with him.
Yeah, and they tried to take out Tess on our way back from like another thing. So basically, they're just like, it's like, you know what? It's like, I'm ready to do this now. And like Joel just like is ready to fucking rock, and then they just walk out, and you're supposed to be going through a checkpoint, and then this introduces like the Fireflies.
Yeah, because they blow up as you go to like pass through, a truck on the other side explodes, and they close it in front of you, and then the Fireflies, and then it's like a firefight, and you literally just run away from it.
And then basically you take like another route through, and you have to go outside the wall and around.
Yeah, it starts introducing stuff like you get your backpack, and then it introduces your flashlight, introduces how you heal, and
introduces infected, and like spores and. Basically spores, there's no difference other than it's a little darker, and you put your gas mask on. The gas mask is automatic, so you don't have to worry about putting it on yourself, which is nice. So just like in games like that where you have to remember to put that stuff on, like in Metro 2033, where if you forget to put your mask on, you die.
Well, yeah, but I mean it's a lot different there.
Yeah.
Right, with stuff like, the mask mechanics are very different.
So anyway, they make it to this place where Robert's holed up, and on the way in they run into some of his thugs, and that's where you first start to take out people. So
learn the basics of combat
and cover mechanics. And the way they did cover in this game is that you don't hug cover, you crouch, and then when you get up to it, you'll naturally just kind of go up against it, and you can pop up. And
it's actually more like actual cover.
Yeah,
and it's very, very natural. It's like some cover mechanics are so shitty that they're pretty much game breaking.
Yeah, because it slides you in.
Yeah. And then, like, you can't get out of it unless you press the right button, even if, like, some dude just walks around the corner and starts hitting you or something.
Yeah. Where in this one, you can just, like, readily just back away or jump over it at will,
cover
or
is
whatever.
literally just cover. And the way you interact with everything in this game is really fluid. Like, the way you hop over stuff, the way you make sound based on the types of stuff you do. It all works just seamlessly.
Yeah. So you run into this first group of thugs, and Tessa's is like, I just want to see Robert, just walk away, man. Basically, they keep talking, and Tessa's is like, fuck this, and blows his brains out, and then you have to fight the remaining two guys. You get past them, you go through some other stuff, and then you're where Robert is, and you take out some of his guys, or you can sneak past him, it's up to you. You get into his office, and he starts firing at you, and he's like, go away, and like throws his gun after it's out of bullets, and then runs away, and you have to chase him down. And then you get to him, and then you interrogate him, and he's like, I sold your guns, and I can't tell you who to, and then he breaks his arm.
Yeah, Joel just breaks his arm.
He's like, so to the Fireflies.
He's like, wait, they're getting their asses kicked by the military. There's not that many of them. We can just go
let's go get them. Let's go get the guns.
Tess is just like, that's a really fucking stupid idea, and shoots him twice in the head.
Yeah. So basically they're just like, well, we gotta go get them, so let's go find a Firefly. And lo and behold, the leader of the Fireflies is right around the corner.
Because she was coming to meet Robert.
So, and she's wounded, so she's like, well, you can either come with me now and see what I got, and then do what I need to do to get it back, or you can.
I'll give you the guns if you smuggle something out of the city for me, and that something ends up being Ellie. So at this point, you played through the whole thing since the 20 years later, just as Joel with Tess up until now, and except for the last little bit where you're running with Leader of the Fireflies and Tess. Mm-hmm. But now they split up, and Tess is going to go with. What's her name? Marlene?
Yeah, I believe so.
Gonna go with her back to the Fireflies base, so A, she can get patched up, and B, Tess can verify that they do have the guns that they will get back after they escort Ellie out of the city.
Yeah, and Joel's left with Ellie.
Yeah, and so Joel heads off just with Ellie.
The way the escorting starts off is that Joel wants nothing to do with this.
He doesn't like her. He's very angry about it. He's like, listen, just follow me, do whatever I say, shut the hell up.
Don't be a brat.
Yeah, he doesn't want anything to do with this.
They make it back to some sort of safe house and basically wait for Tess to come back.
And Joel just like lays down on the couch to have a nap while they wait.
Ellie's just like, what am I supposed to do?
And he's like, I'm sure he'll figure it out. And just goes to sleep.
Yeah. It cuts to Joel like waking up from a bad dream, and Ellie's just making a comment that it's like, I hate nightmares, and he's like, so do I. And like, because his whole fucking life's
yeah. Drink some scotch. Then Tess shows up, and they head out. She's verified that they have the guns, and they'll get the guns back, so we're happy about that. And so they head out, and they get through the wall. and then they run into some guards out on patrol. And so they think they're fine. They're like sneaking through this abandoned
cargo
truck.
container.
Yeah. And they get out, and Joel gets butted in the side of the head with a rifle butt.
Yeah, so they get ambushed.
Yep. And so they like line them up and like scan them all to see if they're infected. And then Ellie, like when they get to Ellie, she like pulls out a knife and stabs the guy in the leg. He's like, "What?" Then he goes to shoot her, and then Joel just like gets up and tackles him. And then Tess shoots the other soldier.
That's taken care of, and then they're just like,
then they
"What the fuck?"
Pick up the scanner thing. Like, this says you're infected. What the hell?
It's like, we reset up. Like, what's going on?
Because if someone's infected, they turn into a zombie thing in like within 48 hours. Usually less. Usually more like 12.
8 hours. Yeah. It's like 8 to 48 hours or something like that. Is what they said in the game somewhere. But anyway, then Ellie goes into explaining this. Like, she shows it, and it's like, this is 3 weeks ago.
And Joel doesn't. He's like, that's bullshit. But Tess is like, what if that's true? Like, what if this girl, something about her could give us a cure for this? He's like, I don't care. This isn't what we do. I don't want to do this. Let's just go back and leave her.
Yeah.
Because Joel's a dick.
Yeah, Joel just doesn't want anything to do with this bullshit.
Yeah.
He just doesn't want to risk his life if he doesn't have to.
All he cares about is surviving at this point. He does not care or want to care about anything else.
So that's when they were having this little bit of spotted dialogue, and then the military starts showing up, and Joel's just like, "Fuck, run!" And then you start running, and the military doesn't know where you are yet, so you're sneaking around and you're avoiding lights and all this stuff, and then you're basically just getting out of the city at this point. You sneak around, you get caught. If you get caught, then you have to run like hell because they all have fucking machine guns, and they'll kill you if they can.
Yeah. And eventually you get past them all, and then you get out into the city proper. And walk around and look at some destroyed and dilapidated skyscrapers. And there's some great, like, throughout the entire thing, there's always, like, context-sensitive dialogue. So everyone will say stuff based on where they are, what they're seeing, what room of a building they're in.
Even the actions you're doing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you start making your way through the city to the Capitol building where the group of Fireflies is there to take away Ellie. And so you think that your journey is going to be a short one, and, well, you work your way towards that place, and the military is still kind of following you a little bit, I guess.
But mainly it's infected here that you have to deal with.
So you're sneaking through the buildings.
And it's really your first, like, real fights with the infected here.
So you go into the golden something building.
Goldstone
building.
Yeah, it looks like a TV or broadcasting thing or something.
Yeah, it's leaning. It's not upright.
Yeah, it's on an angle, and there's some fun traversal to get through that thing.
This is and it's all explained like this. Like Ellie asks why the surroundings are so destroyed. And
they bombed the area,
everything around it.
The closest to the safe zone to try and get rid of as much of the fungus as they could, and it worked. But I mean, 20 years, so it's come back.
So you're going through the golden whatever building, and you are making your way through, and like off in the distance you hear like a scream, like from an infected, and Ellie's just like, "What the hell is that?" And basically it's far away, so it's not an immediate danger. And then you go into the building, and eventually you run into your first clicker. Joel basically opens the door and makes a little bit of noise, and it just tackles him on his way through the door, and you manage to get it off you, and Tess finishes it off, and that's the intro to Fungus Heads. They can only see with sound, they don't see with eyes because they got none left.
And they explain that all by telling that to Ellie.
After that, they get to where the Fireflies are. They basically make their way through the city.
Yeah, they get there, but all the Fireflies are dead. This is a recurring theme in this game. Fireflies are shit at their job. It's like, we're gonna take back this country and bring back the government. We can't do anything, we just die all the time.
But it's kind of realistic because they're not trained soldiers like the people that are taking them out.
Yeah.
So...
Also, they're trained soldiers. Like, the military is the only one who has access to fancy stuff like body armor and, like, automatic weapons and, running cars. They've got the word cut out for them. But yeah, you get there, and the Fireflies are dead. So Joel's like, well, fuck this. And Tess is like, no, we need to figure out, they were going to take you to, they had some lab where they were trying to work on a cure. Did they tell you where it is? Or just out west somewhere, I don't know. And Joel's like, what are you doing? Let's just go back. And she's like, no, I can't go back. And then she got bit in one of the fights, and so she's infected. And Joel is not happy about this. but also he's not happy about the idea of having to take Ellie further.
By himself.
Yeah, but Tess basically yells at him and like makes him do it. And so he does, and they leave. And then like there's soldiers banging on the door. And so Tess just like stays behind to, buy time because she'd rather get shot by the soldiers than turn into a fungus monster.
I think pretty much anyone would.
Yeah. So then you run away, and you hear her dying, and then you get up above and you can like look down at her corpse as like the soldiers just like walk by, as like target down.
She took out 2 of my men.
Took out 2 of our men. And they just like walk by looking for you as you're like hiding up above, looking down at them.
Yeah. And the military is actually actively pursuing you at this point. Like they're searching the building, so if you're searching around, you can't take your time. You got to kind of move it.
Yeah, because they will just come up behind you the same way you got there.
So you're searching around, and then eventually you run into a spot where you have to fight them. This is where you get the rifle.
Yep. Throughout the game, it'll slowly give you more weapons. This is like your first real combat against, like you fought people, but you never fought
armored soldiers before.
Because I mean, if you screwed up trying to stealth and like they noticed you, is like revolver, like one shot to the head will take down a guy. But these guys are wearing helmets, and like you can run out of ammo trying to take these guys down. And also a fun thing is like if you run in and try to melee them, and like while you're grappling with them and having to do like the keep tapping square to try and push them off you and everything, if there's more guys, the other guys are just shooting you, so your health is constantly going down this whole time.
Yeah, so it's bad.
Yeah, if you get caught out with a bunch of them, you can die pretty easy.
So you make your way through, and you get out the other side finally, and there's no more soldiers chasing you. And you sit and have a small dialogue with Ellie where you're just like, my word is law. Like my word, you do what I say, and make it clear with Ellie, and she's just kind of like, okay, whatever.
Then you go down into a subway, and it's full of spores, and so Joel puts on his mask, and this is like
when
he sees like that she's just not wearing anything and fine. And she's like, I wasn't lying. Like I'm not going to turn. He's just like, because he really didn't believe it at all. So now he's actually starting to believe in Ellie and what she is. And then you fight your way through some soldiers, and you have to get through some water. It's the first water puzzle show up.
She can't swim.
Yeah, she can't swim. And then you get through that section, and you get out of town. Then it's the first cut. Like you'll get sections, and then the game will just cut, and you're somewhere else throughout their journey. And so this cut goes from Boston to the outskirts of Lincoln, Massachusetts. And you walk through the forest for a while, which shows off the outside, and it looks very pretty. And Ellie's like, I've never been in the woods before.
And like you'll be running by trees and stuff, and you'll see like the squirrels like running up them, or you'll see like birds in the overgrowth or whatever, and they fly away. And Naughty Dog has this attention to detail that is almost unsurpassed. So it's just every little thing that they put into it, I appreciate. So and even Ellie makes comments on like, wow, I've never seen this kind of thing before.
Yeah, and like a rabbit goes hopping by, and she's like, oh, hey, little fella.
Nice touches, and I think there's like a dialogue thing you can do here as well, but I can't remember.
No.
But whatever, they're basically going to meet up with Joel's friend Bill, who owes him a favor. So
because he's hoping to get a truck, because now
they have to.
They know that the Fireflies have a base somewhere, but they don't know where it is. And Joel's brother Tommy used to be a Firefly, and so Joel doesn't know where the Fireflies are, but he knows where his brother is. So he's going to go to his brother, and then his brother can tell them where the Fireflies are, or where their base is, or whatever, and then he can get Ellie there, and then get the hell out. And so you get past some traps now, because Bill's a bit of a crazy son of a bitch. And so he's like set up like tripwires attached to bombs all throughout his place, and all sorts of stuff. He's somehow used, I don't know how he got them there, but he's like positioned clickers in like dead-end alleys, so if people walk by, the clickers will get them.
It's pretty funny because like when you walk into the town, you don't even really hear them very much because they're just staying there silent. And then like you'll kind of go up to like a shed and you'll be like, oh shit! Like Joel will say, oh shit. I laughed so hard at that point because they didn't see me I didn't see them. I was backing up out of a door. Because I was looking behind me and I was moving up, and then I turned around and I'm like, and as soon as I saw it, Ella's just like, watch out, and I'm like, oh shit. Like we were just like whispering under our breaths, and then the clicker kind of just like looks around, just like,
that reminds me of another nice thing is that a lot of times, like if you're like sneaking up, it's like, I'm gonna get this guy. Occasionally, Ellie will just be like, Joel, to your right. You'll turn, like there's a guy coming, he's about to see. He's like, shoot, so quick, like back up.
Yeah. He's like running right at you with like a piece of like a 2x4 or something like that. Like, the enemies know how to sneak in this game, and I'm dreading turning off the hearing thing.
Yeah, there's like, it's basically like Batman detective mode. There's listen mode where you can, like, it shows you within whatever its radius is. If they're making sound, you'll, like, see an outline of them.
So if they're talking or they're moving, then
but the thing is, like, if
moving.
a person's just standing there, they're not making any sound, so they won't even show up on this because you're actually listening.
Like, even if you listen for the clickers at Bill's place, you won't see them on your display because they're not making any noise. They're just standing.
Yeah, because they're not actually trying to find anything, just standing there. Yeah. So even that isn't perfect. But even the thought of turning that off, it's just like, oh.
Never gonna find.
Because it's so useful to, like, tell, like, you know, like, okay, this guy's walking away, and that guy, like, which way is he? He's facing that way. Okay, I can get him now.
And if there's something behind you, it shows you, like, a little white glow where they are on your screen.
Yeah, and just like not having that is like, it's already it is hard. Like, it's not hard in that the combat is difficult. It's just
you have to be careful and cautious.
Yeah, because one screw up and it's like, well, there goes like 5 shotgun shells you could not afford to lose, and your last shiv.
Or if, like, you are in combat, you have to pay attention to what you're swinging at, because if you just don't have a weapon and you're swinging at some infected and all of a sudden there's a clicker there, if you swing at it, it'll just grab you and eat you. Like, you'll be dead.
Another thing is, like, when you're fighting people, like, if they see you coming and you go to swing, a lot of times they'll just, like, do a quick hop back out of the range and you'll just swing and miss, and then they'll, like, charge at you or something.
Or occasionally they duck and then swing back.
Yeah.
Like,
if you're just running in trying to be like, I will hit melee and it will hit you, no.
Not all the time.
Like, if you're lucky, if they're kind of stunned or, like, stumbling and off their balance or something, then you can hit them. But if they're ready, you know...
If you got a bottle or a brick, throw that first and then run in and make your swing, because then you'll hit them. Even you got to be quick on that one, because they'll come out of the stun after, like, a 2 seconds or something like that. So it's not 100% reliable either. But anyway, you eventually are, like, setting off so many traps and stuff.
Yeah, you get to a part where you walk through a door. You set off a trap, and Joel gets pulled upside down, and he's, like, hanging because there was, like, a little noose on the ground that wrapped around his foot.
Tied to a fridge.
Yeah, tied to a fridge. So Ellie's, like, going and trying to cut the rope on the fridge, and you're hanging, and then infected start coming in. So you're hanging upside down with a revolver trying to shoot them.
This is a point where, like, they actually gave you unlimited ammo for the gun, because you would have been screwed if
you still have to reload it, which can be a pain in the ass. You actually have unlimited, because at this point, like, I mean, if you run out, what are you gonna do?
Or just didn't have any ammo to begin with, like, you would have been screwed. So basically, well, like Ellie just is like, hey, I found some ammo, and throws it to you, and you're just like, thanks, and then you reload your gun, and you're ready to go. So at least, like, they put that into it. Got enough ammo to shoot all these guys.
First time I played through this section, because halfway through, the fridge gets knocked over, which, you know, pulls the rope further, so you go even higher up, and now they can't get to you, so now you're actually just defending Ellie. Yeah. And in my game, she ran outside. So I'm like, no, it's harder!
Why did you run outside, Ellie?
So I tried to shoot the clicker. I was like, God, can't get the head.
Because with clickers, if you don't shoot them in the head, it takes 4 shots with the revolver.
Yeah.
It takes 2 shots in the head to kill a clicker, because you have to knock the fungus away and then you shoot them.
Because the fungus is basically like kind of like a helmet. It's like shielding them.
Pretty much. And then after, like, right at the end of the scene, like, you get knocked to the ground after she cuts the rope, and,
then, like,
you're surrounded.
One jumps on you, like, trying to push it off, and then, like, someone comes and just, like, cuts its head off as, like, a head rolls over your shoulder. And it's Bill, and Bill's come and save you. And then you run, because there's a lot of
way too many. And there's, like, some points where, like, you stop and you try to shoot them, but then you realize there's way too many coming over that thing, no. And then you start running, and if you stick around, you're done. You're not going to win. So eventually just keep running, and then you get in and you start talking to Bill, and Bill immediately handcuffs Ellie, because he's like, I don't know who you are.
And he, like, like, points his gun at Joel. He's like, get down on your knees. And starts, like, checking him, like, looking under his collar. He's like, were you bit? Anything? He's like, no, go down. I'm fine. Get off. But Ellie, like, tears the pipe out and bashes Bill with it. I was like, stop it. He's like, but he's an asshole. I was like, I know, he's really paranoid. You're not helping, because now they're both yelling at each other.
And Ellie uses the word motherfucker so much in this game.
Yeah, Ellie swears a lot.
Yeah. So they start talking to Bill, and they're just like, and Ellie's just like, we're here because you owe Joel a favor, and you can start by taking these handcuffs off me.
And Bill's like, what is this, a joke? Joel's like, we need a car. Oh, so this is a joke. Oh, yeah, sure. If I had a car that worked, which I don't, I'm just going to give it to you. Yeah. Take all my food while you're at it. Ellie's like, looks like you can afford to lose the food. Joel's just like, I need you to shut the fuck up.
Basically, they talk to Bill and finally get him to agree, and they're walking away, and he's like, this whole damn place is booby traps, so stay close on my ass. And Ellie's just like, can't miss it.
And Joel's just like, stop it.
Yeah. There's little moments in the game where it's just like it's not too overbearing or anything like that, but just little funny pieces of banter here and there. So
got something on your shoe. That one was great.
Yeah. Oh, it's a hand.
Yeah.
When they're getting chased through the city and like there's a whole bunch of infected.
Get through like a garage door and like slams shut just as the infected are getting there. It's just like, you got something in the shoe. Like looked at Joel's shoe and there's like the arm that got cut off by the doors like on his shoe. He's like, oh, cute. Now you've got to go to the high school because a military supply crashed into it. The military is the only one who makes new stuff, so there's lots of destroyed vehicles that you can get some parts from, but things like the batteries are all shot, and so they need one with good cells, which means a new battery that was made by the government, not one that's been sitting out for 20 years.
Before that, they go to Bill's place to gear up and stuff.
Yeah, they get shotguns and stuff.
And Bill teaches you how to make nail bombs.
Yeah. Throughout the game, they keeps teaching you new recipes for making stuff.
Yeah, and you can find them laying around too sometimes, so keep an eye out. And then Bill starts talking about like how he had a partner and like how he should lose Ellie, tell her to go packing and all that. And
also, throughout this whole thing, Bill keeps mentioning like
Tess.
Like Tess is like, oh, I think Tess is okay with this. What the hell's going on here? And Joel just straight up refuses to mention that she's dead. Like, doesn't say anything about it. Even at one point, Ellie tries to be like, look, about Tess. He's like, okay, here's how this is going to work. You're never going to mention her again, okay? In fact, neither of us are going to bring up anything about her past at all.
Joel even mentions early in the game, like, it's like the best thing about my job is I don't need to know anything about you.
Yeah. Like, he doesn't want to know because he doesn't want to care about anyone because they're probably going to die.
Yeah.
And he'd rather just, you know what? Yeah, just I don't care about anything. That way, when everyone dies, whatever. He's very upset that Tess died because I was like the one person basically he cared about still. Well, I guess Tommy, but Tommy lives halfway across the country.
They start making their way to high school, and it's like uncharted territory for Bill because
he never goes that far because he likes to live in his little safe zone with all his traps and not go inside.
He knows it's filled with infected because the high school was an evacuation zone, and everyone died there. They start making their way through the cemetery full of clickers, and they get out on the street, and they're ambushed a couple times by a bunch of runners and clickers, and it's basically just make sure that you look around and you find as much stuff as possible because you're going to need everything you have for this trip.
Like, you could like avoid those houses with the enemies in them, but those houses might have bullets or maybe some duct tape so you can make a new shiv, and you really need those.
So you go around trying to take out enemies stealthily with just like chokeouts and stuff.
Like what is the easiest way you can kill things without using any ammo of any kind?
Or if you're really brave, you can try sneaking past everything and not kill anything.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculously hard.
Yeah, because like things have a good field of vision, especially like if it's like a bright and they can easily see you. Yeah. Like it doesn't matter if you're like 80 feet away; they're probably going to see you.
Yeah, and the runners can still see you. So if they have clickers around them, as soon as they start freaking out, the clickers follow them.
Yep.
So you basically
as soon as you get something like even if you're choking something out, if you take too long or it makes sound or you're too close to something else, it will hear that happening.
Stress. You make your way through this area like where there's houses, and you have to make your way through a house full of clickers, and you start talking with Ellie a little bit, and you finally get to the high school. It's surrounded by runners.
Yeah. So you fight your way through, waves and waves, and finally you get there, and you probably run out of a lot of your ammo at this point.
First time I got there, I was out of everything except for I had like 5 bullets left in my 9mm.
Yeah, I think I had like 2 rounds in my revolver.
Yeah.
And 1 Molotov, maybe.
When I got into the high school, I looted around and like was able to make up a Molotov so I could take out the stuff in the hallway.
So when you get there, you find that the battery is not in the truck. It's already been taken by someone else.
Yeah, and at this point, everything knows you're there. So everything's trying to get in the building to eat you.
So you're basically just running around, being chased by everything, not having gotten anything for this entire trip.
And you make your way into like the gymnasium, and this is where we're introduced to a new enemy.
This is where it's stage 4 of the infection after the clicker, the bloater. Who's basically like, they're basically armored because they have so much fungus all over them that it's hard, like bullets don't really pierce them.
So you have to take out like little glowy
and
spots
also
on them.
They basically chuck little grenades of like spores that explode.
And you stay in the cloud.
Not infecting spores, but
no,
they hurt
they're
you.
like acid.
Yeah,
and if you stay in the cloud of spores, then it hurts you.
Also, you can't see anything while you're in there.
Yeah.
And you're probably gonna like stagger when it hits you.
Yeah. So you
Which
gotta make
makes
sure
shooting him, because they have like a couple bits of like little like red like fungusy bits on them that aren't. There's like 3 of those. Those are weak spots, but if it's paying it, like, first of all, these things they're fat, but if it knows you're there, basically all it does is like
yeah, and runs at you.
Yeah.
And if it catches you, it crushes your head.
Yeah, like it's an instant kill. Like you cannot get away. If it gets to you, you die.
Yeah, even if you have Shiv Master or whatever.
And this was a pain in the ass for me, because there's 3 weak spots. There's like one like kind of around the heart. There's one off to the side, and there's one on the back on the upper shoulder. So I shot these 2, but the one on the back, like, it targeted me constantly. I was just like basically running around in a circle trying to like hide behind something so it would stop and go after like Bill or someone. No, it just kept coming after me and chucking things at me, and so I kept waiting for Bill to manage to shoot that thing, because I would like start aiming and then I'd get hit by a thing and stagger and then I have to get out of that, and then oh god, it's right here, I gotta run. And Bill, of course, is a retard and can't shoot. He just keeps shooting at it, but he's not targeting that. I'm like, please shoot the thing on his shoulder.
Yeah.
Please shoot it. I'm just running around. Finally killed the goddamn thing.
They're a pain in the ass. And it's even worse when you run into more than one. That's all done with, and then you're basically climbing up the bleachers to get out the window, and more infected come in. You take them out, you get out into the alleyway. More infected in the alleyway. We have to, like, I only killed the one that ran up to the ladder real quick, and then
you make a run.
Yeah.
You're just like basically pretty much running, because if you weren't out of ammo before, the bloater does not help things.
No.
And then finally, like, you get to a house and you have like a second to rest, and you turn around and hey, there's a hung guy just hanging there.
That's Frank.
Yeah, that's good old Frank, who is Bill's partner. So Bill's pretty upset to see him hanging there, but he's also pissed off because the motherfucker left him. And you find a note that he wrote how he's like, I fucking hate you, Bill. And
it's like, I want more to life than this.
Yeah, you also found that he's the one who took the engine, because, you know, that...
Battery.
Yeah, the battery, yeah, because Bill had always been talking like, oh, well, since the couple weeks since it had crashed, he's like, oh, you gotta get that battery, you gotta get a working car. And finally the guy's like, I'm gonna get it and get the fuck out of here. So he got it, but he got bit, and so he hung himself instead of turning. But luckily you've got a working pickup now. However, the battery, there's a working battery in it, however it's dead. So you have to push start it.
And so you open the garage door and you start pushing it. It doesn't start away, so you have to push it down the street to a hill.
As infected are starting to run up. You and Bill are just like running behind, pushing this as Ellie tries to start it.
And Ellie points out that there's stuff coming, and and it's just, I'm glad that the infected didn't try to kill Ellie.
No, they did.
Oh, did they?
They killed her once for me.
Oh, really? They never ran up to her. I would.
No, they did for me, because one time, like, me and Bill were fighting someone on the other side, and like one got her. I'm like, no, and then like I had to like push off 2 guys, like Tammy, and like watching the health thing go down. I'm like, no. Like I go to shoot it, and it like just like like eats her. I'm like,
yeah.
ow.
Whenever a character that's not you dies, the same death animation. Yeah. It's just like something will grab it and bite its neck, or like crush her head or whatever. So. Other stuff can die. It's not just you.
Not just you. You got to keep your whole team together.
So you finally get to the hill, and this is where like a lot of infected are starting to finally see you.
But finally, you get the truck started.
Yeah.
And then you just like fight off as many as you can, and just hop in the back, you and Bill.
I just run straight to the back. I don't even acknowledge anything around me. I'm just like, fuck, it's in the truck, and I just jump in the truck, and then it goes. So I'm just like, ooh. So intense moments, and then Bill gets to stop.
So you drive until you lose them, and then Bill's like, all right, this is right, good enough, stop. And he gets out, and he's going to go back to his place.
And Joel and him have a small moment where Joel's like, well, you know, losing your partner back there, that's a pretty rough deal. And then
Bill's just like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. He's like, you have everything you need? All right, get the fuck out of my town.
Or even forever, get the fuck.
On their way. And Ellie's in the back reading comics and
comics that she stole from Bill.
And gay porn.
Yeah, and yes, Bill's gay porn.
Why are the pages stuck together?
And Joel's just like,
There's really subtle moments like where it implies that Bill is gay, and
yeah, because he talks about Frank having been his partner, but the way he says it, like someone I cared about, he was a partner. His
life partner, more notably. So they make their way to Pittsburgh. And this is where guy stumbles out into the middle of the road, and Joel's just like...
Yeah, Ellie's like, stop, he's hurt. And Joel's like, no, he isn't.
He's like, but what about the guy? He's not even hurt.
Yeah. The guy's like, oh, fuck, pulls out a gun.
Yeah. They get through that, but
They
just
get
barely.
rammed by a bus.
Yeah.
Driven off the road and crash the truck, and then have to fight for their lives because people are running up and like drag Ellie out of it, and then that's when a guy tries to impale Joel's throat on some glass, but it is he who gets the throat impaled.
Yes.
Because Joel is a
badass. Yeah. And then this is one of the bigger parts where the enemies try to flank you a lot.
Yeah,
because there's an alley to the side.
The whole thing is all people that you're fighting through Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Because it's basically a giant group. It started as one of the safe zones, but the military tried to like basically stage a coup and was like saving all of the food for themselves and everything, and the people basically revolted against this, which is good at the time, but then they basically became like these sadistic killers who, if anyone comes into the city, they murder them and like steal anything of use that they have.
Yeah, like shoes,
yeah,
clothes.
like you got good shoes. Like they keep lists of everything, and like anyone who comes to town, like they steal everything that they have and murder them just instantly.
And I can only imagine that they keep the women and children for certain other things.
Mm-hmm.
So you're making your way through the town, and you eventually like. There's nothing really too specific that I should probably talk about here. It's just you going through and killing bandits and stuff.
Yeah, it's some good level design. This is where the hotel from the one preview thing that they showed, I think it was the Spike Video Game Awards where they showed the playthrough at the hotel. And as you go through, you learn new things. You learn how to make a smoke bomb, get a couple new guns, and then you run into a vehicle that hounds you and is a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
It's a Humvee with a mounted 50 cal machine gun on it. It was the one vehicle that they managed to fix up from the military when they staged the coup.
God, that thing sucks.
And it's chasing you and like running behind buildings. And at one point you like run behind, it's like, okay, good. And it just pulls around to the other side, you're like, oh, fuck you. And eventually you manage to get away, and you like climb up this building, and like you jump through a window and run into a guy. And so you start fighting him. And he's fighting with Joel, and then Ellie like runs in, like kind of like slashes his arm with a knife. And he like kind of like freaks out and stops when he sees her, and then so Joel's like starts punching him over and over, and then Ellie's like, stop, and he looks up and there's like this little kid pointing a gun at him, and then they realize that hey, neither of them's with that group, they're both normal survivors, and they actually team up.
Yeah, kid's name is Sam and Henry's the adult.
Yep, his older brother.
Might as well be Walt and Henry.
Yeah, so you get some nice like sort of being kid stuff with Ellie and Sam.
Yeah.
And yeah, you lead through, and at first, Joel's still like, he's like, fuck this, can't trust these people. Who are these people? He's being Joel.
Yeah. And eventually, like, they get through, and they're both on their way to the bridge.
Yeah, because they both want to get out of town. They're both going to meet up with the Fireflies. Mm-hmm. Henry and Sam are with a larger group that got split up when they got into town by the assholes who run the town. But they were all going to join the Fireflies, and Joel doesn't say why they're meeting the Fireflies. We're like, we're going to look for the Fireflies too. Mm-hmm. He's like, okay, well, we got to get across this bridge, which is like, there's like 20 guys staying down there guarding it. But at night, there's just a skeleton crew. So tonight, after nightfall, that's when we strike. So you do.
So you take it down a couple of guys that are in one of the closer buildings to the barricades, and then start sneaking around trying to avoid the lights. And there's, as you're doing this, they're shooting clickers and enemies that are coming in.
Yeah, because basically there's like a 10-foot barricade in front of the opening of the bridge. And they've got a machine gun up there, and there's like other guys like with sniper rifles and stuff, and they got lights. And you like sneak up and like take out the guard like at the bottom, and then you cut the power on the generator down there so the light goes out. And then they all come down to like check it out. And then you try to take them out, which is really hard to do stealthily because it's pitch black, and if you turn on your light,
they see it instantly. Yeah. Like, they're just like, what's that?
So you're like trying to like find, like, there's people, like there's like 4 guys all walking around in different directions. So you're trying to hide behind something and then like listen and look around, but also be hidden from every direction. It's like, no. So you can get 1 if you're lucky, maybe 2, but eventually it's just gonna evolve into a firefight.
So after you take them out, you can go through the door, and then the Humvee shows up.
Yeah, then the Humvee shows up again.
Fucker.
And so you lock the door, but it's just like kind of smashing against the door trying to get in. You run. And at this point, there's a bus that you climb up or something?
Yeah. And
so there's a ladder.
Like a ladder.
Yeah, there's a ladder on it.
It breaks.
So yeah, you boost up. So you get Henry up there, and then he helps up Sam and Ellie. But when Ellie goes up, the ladder breaks and falls off, so Joel's stuck underneath. And so Henry's just like, fuck you! Just like, I gotta save my brother! So they jump over, and then Ellie like hops back down. She's like, I'm staying with you.
Yeah.
And so you have to sneak through. And then finally you get around, and you get onto the bridge. And the Humvee's there, so you're like running, like literally the Humvee is behind you, chasing you, like firing the machine gun at you. As like, you swerve between like cars and get onto the bridge. You like start running down the bridge, and there's no bridge.
Yeah, and
it's
then,
a giant gaping hole.
And then Joel's like, "Oh no, we'll just stay and fight." And he's like, "Don't worry, I'll float with you."
Yeah,
or whatever.
Yeah,
and
he's like, it's too far, you can't swim. And she's like, well, we're not fighting the Humvee.
Yeah, and then basically Ellie's just like, screw it, and
Yeah,
Joel's
she
like,
jumps,
no, and
yeah,
she just jumps in.
So he's like, fuck, and then she jumps after him.
So they wake up on the side of the shore.
Oh, no, first like you actually have to swim through the water and like
Right.
grab her. And then like you grab her and then
Slam into a rock.
Yeah, you get like slammed hard like into the rock with a fast current. And then you wake up, Henry and Sam had found you and pulled you out of the water and saved you. And then you start sneaking around there and you end up in the sewers.
Well, Joel is pissed off at them first off.
Yeah, Joel, like the first thing when he gets up is he like just goes and hits Henry and like pulls
disarms
the gun.
him.
Yeah. And then Henry's like, look, I had to look after my brother
It's
first
like,
off.
you would have done the same
You would have
thing.
done the same thing. He's like, that doesn't mean I don't want to kill you.
Pretty much.
Because I'm fucking crazy like that.
Joel's just ready to kill anything.
He's really like he's your protagonist, but he's not really a good guy at all. Like
No.
there's a couple mentions of this. Like when you first meet Marlene, and you're like first running to guards as she's leading you to where Ellie is. She's like, "Well, just sneak by them," and then it turns to Joel, even though I know it's not your style.
Yeah.
And of course, Joel ends up murdering them. So yeah, he's a bit crazy. He's a bit of a uncaring, psychopathic asshole. But he's also like he's awesome. Like you know enough about him, like you can see how and why he got to be that person. Yeah.
He's a victim of the environment.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, they're in the sewers and they've discovered that people were living there,
Mm-hmm.
and they find all these notes and they find supplies.
This guy had been like out like living on his boat, and until he finally ran out of supplies and had to come back ashore after the infection started.
Yeah.
And he finds this sewer thing and makes it his home. But eventually he decides to bring other people in and make it this big safe house. Something goes wrong because it's fully
Always
infected
does.
now.
Yeah.
Actually, did you find out what went wrong? There's a note in the town after you get out of there from him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, like someone got bit.
Yeah.
And
No,
then,
there's one person left the door open.
Right. Yes, one person left the door open, and then all hell broke loose.
Yeah.
So.
And yeah, after they left, they were the ones who wrote the infected inside.
On the wrong side.
Yeah.
Ellie's just like, why couldn't you put that on both sides? Damn it.
Yeah, but inside there's a cool part where actually like this, you spring a trap and like this big solid steel door slams shut.
So now it's not you and Ellie anymore. It's
It's
you
you and Sam. And Ellie's with Henry, and you have to sneak through.
So you got a new kid to look after.
And the thing is, like, this also makes it harder because while you were in Pittsburgh, Ellie, like, you finally trusted her enough to give her a gun. And so she can act like, if you get into trouble, she will shoot guys in the face.
Yeah.
Sam won't.
No.
Sam just hides.
Sam, yeah. So you're going through, and there's lots of runners, and these are more advanced because they've got like the extra fungal growth on them and stuff.
It's like I think this is the first time you run into stage 2.
Yeah.
Because
they're stage 1 and stage 3.
Yeah, because they're not quite as deadly as clickers, and they can still see, but they're a lot stronger and harder to kill than just the normal runners.
Yeah. So you gotta watch out for them, and like they seem to have way better senses because like. I remember.
I think I got like 1 or maybe 2 before they all got after me, and then I just ran into like this one room where there's just one entrance. I'm like, I'm just gonna hold off here.
Yeah. Well, I just eventually started throwing like my nail bombs and having them run into them.
Oh yeah, like after I kill everyone, it's like okay, there's more. I hear them, so I just nail bomb at the door. Wait, and then eventually you get through and meet up with Ellie and Henry again.
And they're being chased.
Yeah, they're being chased, and you make a run for it.
Yeah,
and you run and you run.
Run and run.
And then you get
to the final room.
Yeah, a door out. Unfortunately, it's stuck, so only Sam and Ellie can get through, and you and Henry like basically make a last stand. And
it's all clickers and level 2s.
My bombs were all gone. You find basically a shotgun handgun called a shorty.
Yeah.
All the ammo for that gone. Molotovs gone. Shotgun, I had 1 shell left after this.
Yeah.
like, I wasn't even sure if I was going to have enough ammo. Like, is it done? Oh my god, it's done.
Well, no, if you don't even have to kill them all, though, because eventually the door opens.
Yeah, it's eventually you can leave. It's not that you kill them all. It's just finally you're allowed to leave. There's still more.
Yeah, you hear, like, you can hear it in the background if you got, like, good sound. You just, like, all of a sudden you hear a creaking and Ellie's just like, come on, and you're just like, okay. And you just run out and close the door and, like, it says infected on inside the other side and you're just like, fuck.
Yeah. So then you start sneaking through the, this little town.
I don't even know what it is.
And there's some nice dialogue.
And wild dogs.
Yeah, there's wild dogs that Joel says not to go near because they're wild and will probably bite you and eat you. There's an ice cream truck, and Ellie is amazed and thinks that he's fucking with her when he says that there used to be trucks that would just drive around and sell ice cream. He's like, that's bullshit. You're just fucking with me. Really? Man, you lived in a weird world.
Yeah, because she grew up in this world. Like, she knows nothing of the old world except for what people have told her. So
eventually you run into a sniper.
This is an interesting part of the game.
Yeah, because basically they stay to try and keep like his attention as you go to get around. They do a shit job because he knew every building I was in.
Yeah.
And also, like, on the thing is like, okay, so I'm gonna sneak into this building, and then there's a dude in there. I'm like, oh fuck, pipe to the face.
Yeah.
So then you have to start fighting your way through guys while staying out of view of the sniper to get up there. Smoke bombs were quite useful here.
Yeah, I'd throw a smoke bomb out in the open before I ran.
Yeah.
Because he'd look at the smoke and then he wouldn't even pay attention to you. Mm. So you get up to the building.
Yeah, eventually you get around and in the back. And this was awesome because I was so afraid walking through it. There's a door with like like a beaded curtain hanging in it, like on the floor below where the sniper is. Yeah. So I'm like, oh god, don't hear this. Don't hear this.
Yeah.
And then you sneak through and like you get there and like the door to the like you can see the bipod, but he's not there. And like you can look around, it's like I don't see him. So you know he has to be on like one side of the door. It's like okay. So I like pull through, it's like and he like grabs you from behind, I'm like damn it.
Yeah.
Fight him off, get his gun, and then there's a whole bunch of dudes like swarming your group. So you start using the sniper rifle and shooting them.
So they get clear, and then all of a sudden the infected hear everything and show up.
Well, no. First, it's the return of the Humvee.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so the Humvee shows up, and so they're running and like trying to stay behind as it's just driving up and like, getting closer and closer.
So stupid guy inside the Humvee decides that he's going to throw Molotovs.
Throwing Molotovs. So that's pretty awesome, yeah. Because I don't even think I shot him. I think I shot the Molotov in his hand.
Yeah. No, yeah. Well, if you shoot him, he's already got it lit on fire. He drops it and it sets it on fire.
But I'm pretty sure, like I don't think I had the
because I did that on some of the guys in the town.
Yeah, and so it blows up and like the whole thing's fire, and then it like kind of like speeds up and it crashes into a building, and like the front of like the porch falls on it, and they're like whoa, and then like they walk up and are looking at like the burning Humvee, and then the guys pile out of it and attack them. And so you gotta shoot them off, and then the infected start coming. So and you start shooting, it's like bang.
You see
bang.
One or two at first, and you're just like, okay,
so
whatever.
Off, it's like, oh no, there's more. You start picking it up, then eventually like, oh shit, you just like drop the sniper rifle, leave because
there's like a few
30, 40. I'm just like running down the streets, like time to go, gotta go.
Yeah.
So you get out of there, and the whole time you're making it to, what was it, like
a radio tower?
Radio tower, yeah.
Yeah.
Which was where the rest of Henry's team was planning to meet up if any of them survived, and no one shows up. It's just you guys. And so you and Henry sit there and bond, and he's amazed that you and Tommy at one point back before the fall had gone on this cross-country road trip on Harley Davidsons. Yeah, and he's like, man, I'd love to ride one of those. And then Ellie leaves the room and goes and
talks to Henry, or not Henry, Sam. Sam, and he's down. He's depressed.
Yeah, earlier they'd been in this toy store, and Sam had picked up like this little like blue like Power Ranger Megazord action figure thing, and Henry had been like, what's the rule? I was like, only things we need. He's like, that's right, you put that fucking toy down. And Ellie had grabbed it, so she like pulls out and hands it to him. I was like, yeah, just keep it hidden. You can't take it away if he doesn't know you have it.
Yeah. So
and then she goes back in to go to sleep after they have a little talk, and he like just drops it on the floor and like, pulls up his pant leg, and he's infected.
Yeah. He like at one point Henry and him got tackled by infected.
Yeah.
And I guess he got bit before he could take out the infected. So they go to sleep and they wake up the next morning. And there's a stew going and everything is good.
Joel wakes up and he's like, oh, where's Sam? And he's like, oh, I'll let him sleep in. And Ellie goes to wake him up, and hey,
Gets tackled at the door.
Yep. And so Joel goes to shoot him, and Henry shoots at Joel. He's like, "Fuck you, that's my fucking brother." And then Joel looks at him, he's like, "Fuck it," and goes to shoot him, but then Henry shoots him in the head first.
Yeah. And then
Joel's
Henry's
like,
all
"Okay,
fucked
just
up.
give me the gun." And Henry's like freaking out. And he points the gun at Joel. He's like, "This is all your fault. This is all your fault." Joel's like, "Oh, easy.
This is
all
no one's fault."
fucking fault." Bang!
Yeah. Just shoots himself.
Yeah, and then it's just like, black. Fall.
So that was a pretty intense summer that they had. So now they're at the
Oklahoma.
The dam, right?
Yep, going through the Oklahoma wilderness, and they get to a dam, and they're trying to get through on their way to Jackson City, was it? Where Tommy lives?
I can't remember.
Somewhere.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they go around the dam, and then the dam's locked, so, Joel's rattling the cage, and a bunch of people show up with guns, like, looking down at him. He's like, "Oh, hey there." And then they're like, "Who the fuck are you? Like, you better have just been lost." Like, "Look, I'm just trying to pass through." And then he hears someone on the other side. He's like, "I recognize that voice," and it's Tommy. And the girl that had been pointing the gun at him is now Tommy's wife, who runs the thing. And they actually have, like, back in, I'm pretty sure it was Jackson City, but back in wherever, they actually have, like, a actual town with, like 24 families or a dozen families or something, and several houses. And what they're doing is they're actually fixing the hydroelectric dam so that they have electricity, and they have, like, lights and everything.
Yeah,
they have
the
an
power
electric,
grid.
yeah, and once
still good.
when they fix it, they have, like, an electric fence to keep stuff out. So you, like, go with him and you get the electricity working, and then you take Tommy aside and you talk to him, and basically you tell him about Ellie and how she's this cure and how they have to get her to the Fireflies. He's like, you just take her and go. And he's like, "Well, I need to be here. Like, you can." He's like, "No, I'm not going any further. Like, I've taken her far enough. This is your thing. You're the Firefly person. You go get her there. I don't care anymore. I want to leave."
And he doesn't tell Ellie that he's ditching her with him. So,
but she figures it out.
Yeah.
Well, first there's an attack, and you have to, like, fight through people, attacking the dam. But after that,
Tommy's just like, "Okay, I'll do it."
yeah, after that, like, Tommy and his wife are, like, arguing, and you're, like, standing off to the side, and Ellie's like, "Are they arguing about me?" He's like, "I'll tell you later." He's like, "What is it, Joel?" And he's like, "I'll tell you later," and then she walks off. And the next thing you know is she's grabbed up, because they have horses, she's grabbed a horse and, like, rode off. So you and Tommy get on horses and chase after her. Until you run into dudes and have to, like, get off. Well, you get thrown from your horse.
Yeah.
And then you have to fight your way through some guys.
And by this point, you have a scoped pistol, which is pretty awesome.
And you keep chasing. Like, there's actually, like, tracks. Like, you're following the tracks of her horse as you go, which is pretty cool. Because there's some parts where it's branching. And you have to, like, tracks go that way.
Yeah.
And you get to, like, a big fancy ranch, and you go in there and you find her.
Mm-hmm.
And she's pissed off. I was like, you were gonna leave me. And he's like, all, angry, and she's like, "I'm not Sam." He's like, "What the fuck did you say?" He's like, "Tommy's wife told me about your daughter." It's like, I'm not her. And he's like, "Don't you dare bring her up. You have no idea what loss is." She's like, "The fuck are you talking about? Everyone I know has died other than you."
Yeah, pretty much.
And he's just like, "Fuck off. You're not my daughter." And then you fight your way through some guys. Then after that, you're riding back to town. And then, like, Joel's at the back.
He's thinking.
Yeah, he's thinking. And as you get, like, to a hill overlooking the nice little suburb that they have.
He's finally like.
Yeah, Joel's like, "Okay,
Ellie,
well, you
get off your horse."
Yeah, get
Give
on
it
my
to Tommy.
horse. And give your horse to Tommy.
It's like he needs to take it back.
Yep. And Tommy's like, "You sure about this?" He's like, "Look, your wife needs you. I gotta do this. This is my thing."
Tommy's just like, "Well, you always got a place to stay," and it's like, "All right, brother."
And he tells them where the Firefly lab is.
University of
Eastern Colorado?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Western Colorado? University of something Colorado.
Yeah. It's in Colorado, so they gotta go there.
And so it cuts to them, like, just riding the horse up to the front door, the front gate of the university,
Mm-hmm.
so making their way through the grounds, and, like, having to sneak through different things.
Yeah, it's really quiet.
Getting
There's
closer,
nothing.
yeah. Like, there's nothing, but and then as they get closer to the science building, which is where the lab is, they start running into infected, and they're like, "This is weird." And also at this point, like, they're actually bantering and kind of, like, having fun and joking with each other.
So Joel's character is kind of coming around to Ellie, and they're bonding,
and they're like, she's asking him what he like if he ever went to university. He's like, no, I never did. I had Sam when I was pretty young. So.
And he's like, what do you want to do when you grow up? And he's like, I want to be a singer.
And she's like, really? Sing something for me. He's like, no,
not happening.
And then you finally make it all the way there, and so you tie up your horse. Well, you just leave it, but and you go in and start looking around. And inside the science building, there's no one around. And you're like, fuck. This doesn't look good.
Yeah, before you go into the building, you see monkeys too. Mm-hmm. It's infected and a few monkeys.
Yes,
that's what you see on the way in. So you get up to like near the top level.
Yeah, you make it. There's like literally absolutely nothing here.
Yeah, and
then you get up to the top level and you start working. Like there's basically like this tunnel with like plastic sheets and like lights heading down it into like a lab section. So you start walking down that.
As you're about to go through the curtains,
and they're like, what's that? And you turn around, like one of the lamps just like falls over. And you're like, the hell's that? And then they're like, infected? And Joel's like, infected, don't hide.
So you're just like freaked out. Like this is one of the creepiest parts in the game.
Yeah, like, what is it? Like when we both literally like ran back, like checked the whole building back there. It's like that. Like what is back there? Like that just fell down. They didn't find anything. It's like, oh god, continue.
So you continue on. You go through, and the one door opens up, and you're just like, there's noise on the other side, and you like go in, and it's like monkeys. It's fucking monkeys.
Yeah, it's a bunch of the lab monkeys are running around.
And if you read the notes say that the monkeys are actually infected.
Yeah, and what it was that they were moving the lab, but the guy doesn't say where to. But they were moving the lab, and he's like, oh, I gotta get rid of these infected monkeys. They're nice little guys. And then, ow, son of a, oh no, you bit me. Fuck, you bit me. But then finally you find that guy's corpse. And with it you find like a last recording he made before he died. And in it he says that they were going back to their main science place, which is at a hospital in Salt Lake City.
Yeah, Victoria or something.
So now you know where to go. But then you look out, it's like, fuck, because you see a light, and then almost get shot. And there's people running around like outside. And Ellie's like, who are they? And Joel's like, I don't fucking care, we gotta get out of here.
Yeah.
So you start running, you have to like shoot your way out of the hospital. And you make it most of the way down. And then as you go through this door, Joel gets tackled, and he's wrestling with the guy. And both you and him go over a balcony and like fall to the ground floor. And Joel gets
piece of rebar through him.
Impaled.
Yeah.
Like all the way through a piece of rebar. You're like laying there. Like Ellie gets down, fuck, what do I do? And he's like, move! And then you like pull out your pistols, you're like laying there.
Yeah.
And he's like, pull me up. And at this point, like your like vision is like going, you're like stumbling
you
and
barely walk.
Yeah, and like your hearing's all fucked up. Like, you still have to like shoot your way out of the building.
Like, Ellie's doing most of the work.
Over. Yeah.
Like Ellie's saving your life.
Yeah, and it's great because like if you like actually walk near like any like table or like ledge or something, Joel will just automatically start like leaning on it as he like stumbles down and everything. Mm-hmm. It's really cool.
So you get out, and one of the bandits has your horse, and then Ellie just takes him out.
Yeah.
You get on the horse, and
on the horse, and you start riding away.
And then Joel eventually just passes out and falls off.
Yeah, and he falls off, and she's like, Joel!
Winter.
So winter starts off with it's winter, and Ellie is out hunting with a bow and arrow.
This is one of the best parts of the game, seriously.
I really love this. Yeah. She shoots a rabbit and then gets this like, it's not gonna last very long. Like ties it up on the horse, and then turns around and sees a deer. And then you get to start playing as Ellie, hunting a deer. And this is better than any actual hunting game that has ever been made. like literally, like you have to like walk around, because if you step on a twig, it'll snap, and the deer will be like, what was that?
Yeah.
And if the deer sees you, he's gonna run the fuck off.
Yeah. So
you gotta
be
sneak
really
as close as you're willing, and then shoot him, and then he runs off.
I shot that deer from so far away.
Where did you shoot him first?
The third area, because the first time he runs away, right? And then you get to that area, and then he runs away. He ran away again.
The first time I shot at him, and I missed his, like, I was aiming for his head, and literally I was like, and he just like, turns and runs. Like, damn it! But I got up and got my arrow, and like followed his hoof prints, got up, and the second arrow, boom! But I like hit him in the ass, like right in the, like in the thigh. Like, oh, that's not gonna kill him. Yeah. He takes off. But then I'm like, I'm following the blood trail. Yeah. This is awesome. Like through the snow.
Yeah, first time I shot him, I got him in the gut, and then the second time I got him just above the shoulder blade, where you're supposed to be aiming at deer.
Yeah. Yeah, so I shot him in the ass, and then in the third section, I was sneaking up, and I snapped a twig, and he like looks up, and I'm just like, oh shit! And they're just like, away! And like,
Yep.
And then in the fourth section, I was like sneaking up, like being really careful what I stepped on. And at one point, he just like, I'm just like, he's like, and goes back to like looking at his ass, and then that guy snuck around and then shot him basically in the ribs. And he ran off again. I'm like, damn it.
And then you track him forever.
Yeah. And then he goes into this, like the blood trail leads into this like creepy, half-destroyed building. Like, what the fuck is this? It's great. As she's walking up, I was like, okay, this place isn't creepy at all.
Yeah.
All right. Goes
and
into it. And
she
it's
goes
like
up
some
and
mining place.
Inspects the deer, and then she
the deer's
hears...
like out, like it ran through there, and like basically it's kind of like an open area, like with like a bunch of like little like mining buildings all around it. And it's like laying there dead. And as I get close, I'm like, oh god. I'm like looking around, it's like, fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. Get close to the deer.
So,
yep. She hears something, and then people show up.
Yeah, she's like, get the hell out in the open. I need to see you.
Pulls out her bow and arrow and points it at them.
Yeah. And it's this guy named David and some young guy.
Yeah, who...
James or something.
I don't know. Ellie gives him a nickname. I can't remember what it is, though.
I can't remember either.
Yeah, it's them. David's just like, look, listen. I come from a bigger group, and we really need that meat. We need that to live. We have other stuff. Like, we have stuff that I'm willing to trade. Like, is there anything you need? And she's like, medicine. He's like,
antibiotics.
Yeah. Do you have any antibiotics? He's like, yes we do. He's like, I can take you there. He's like, I'm not going fucking anywhere. He's like, okay. So they send the other kid to go get them, and then they stay there.
Yeah, and she takes his rifle.
Yeah, so that he doesn't have his gun. And then he's like, can we get in out of the cold and like start a fire? Like, okay. So she has him drag the deer, and they drag it into a building and start a fire.
And the deer naturally leaves a big giant blood trail into the building and everything. So it's not obvious that there's anything in there at all.
But then you hear you're infected.
Yep. They're all screaming and you can hear them and you're just like, shit. So they basically had to end up working together.
And then one runs and David like pulls out a pistol and shoots it. He's like, you had another gun? He's like, sorry. But then you and him have to fight off a bunch of them, and you keep fighting them off. And he's
like giving you compliments. Like, you're doing really good. You're better than I am.
Better than I am. Good work. But eventually you're just like, fuck, there's too many of them, out of here. So then you like get out of that building and run. And get into another building, and you get separated. At this point you're playing just as Ellie, like fighting clickers. Yeah. Also, Joel has shitty shivs that break. Ellie has an actual knife. So she's pretty good at melee combat.
Yeah, like, well, she can be taken down a lot faster if she gets hit. But like, she can
if you're
take
trying
you
to do
quick.
it like really quickly while something can't notice, like she jumps like has to like stab several times. So the actual animation and the time it takes to kill something that way takes her longer. So you're like more vulnerable to something noticing you doing this. Mm-hmm. But yeah, she's like doesn't break. She can just keep stabbing and stabbing.
Yep. So that's good. Ellie sneaks around, you solve some like really simple puzzles and like get out of there, and then you're into this other building where you find that survivors that tried to hold up before and failed.
Yep. David's like, I sent those guys out. I was wondering where they went. Damn it.
And then like you hear shit on the roof, and you're just like, oh fuck.
Like, make a last stand there and have to kill off the remaining infected, and they just keep coming.
Eventually, a bloater shows up, and you're just like, oh my god. And you know what? I saved all of my bombs for the end. Mm-hmm. Like, I saved them as long as possible, and I was like, oh yeah, I got bombs. So I set one up near the door and one at the windows on this side.
The rifle was so good for, like, one-shotting clickers.
Yeah, if you hit them in... Yeah,
if it was normal ones, I would switch to the revolver that she had and use that. But yeah, and then save that for taking out clickers.
And then the bloater, I hit him once with a bomb and then set him on fire.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, fire works great on bloaters.
Yeah.
Molotovs are fantastic for bloaters.
Yeah, best friend in this game is Molotovs. After that happens, basically you get back to the deer and you're just like, checking things out, and then what's-his-face shows back up.
One thing about bloaters being so armored, like there's a chance that a Molotov won't kill them. However, if you hit them with a Molotov, you have time to run and hide, and they won't know where you're going because they're busy doing this because they are on fire.
Yeah, they can't notice you, so you can hide.
Even if it doesn't kill them, you can get away and then regroup and take it out. And anything else,
This is the point. This is the point where you try to get around to the backside so you can take out that armor plating on the back first. But anyway, you're back at the deer, and just as what's his face is showing up, David is revealing to you.
Yeah, he's like
who he is.
I think everything happens for a reason, and you're like, the fuck are you talking about? He's like, well, you see, we've had a problem. Sent out some people from our group, and they were killed by, they called him like this crazy psychopath who was traveling with a little girl, and then you just like raise your gun at him. He's like, it's cool.
It's like they didn't really give us much of a choice. And it's like, we didn't really have much of a choice either.
Yeah, and he's like, look, like, you can come join our group. Like, we will protect you. It's cool. And she's like, no. And then the guy shows up and he's like, give me the antibiotics. And she runs out.
Yeah, and David's like, okay, just give her the medicine.
Yeah,
and
so she goes and she gives Joel the medicine.
Yeah.
And he's like laying there in like a fever, like mumbling to himself.
And his gut looks so bad. It's like they makeshift stitched him up and hope that the internal damage would just heal on its own, and yeah, it was pretty bad looking. But she gives him some penicillin
and then goes to sleep and wakes up, and there's like guys walking around in like nearby buildings.
They tracked her back.
Yeah, they tracked the horse. So she gets out and gets on the horse and like rides away to draw them away from Joel because he's still passed out. And so you're riding and like, dodging, and like, occasionally a guy will jump on you. You have to like knock him away or like stab him or get him off the horse.
Yeah, and then eventually they're just like, shoot the horse!
Yeah, eventually like, shoot the fucking horse! And then your horse gets shot and you go like falling over a cliff. Well, not like a big cliff, like a 5-foot cliff.
I felt bad about it because that horse has been with you for like months. It's like you even even get a little bit attached to the animals in this game.
And then you're like literally on your own fighting people as Ellie.
Mm-hmm.
And so like sneaking through buildings, and like this guy breaks in. It was first there was like two people talking. I like threw a bottle past them and it broke, and they both turned around. So I just pulled the hunting rifle. I was like, boom, boom. Like the first guy just like shooting the back of the head. The other guy turns around. She's over the.
Yeah.
And then like there was a guy apparently just outside because like a couple seconds later a guy runs in. It's like fuck. They're just like chung, 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 stab him to death.
Yeah. The way that played out for me is I threw a fucking Molotov right at them. So they were both like running around screaming on fire, and like they both fell down dead. The other guy came running in. He's like, what the fuck happened? And I'm already gone. Like I had already ran through the building and went out the other side. So like that guy was just behind me, and I was just like, screw it. And then eventually I ran into more guys, but that guy kept following to where, like, kind of where I was. So I hid in the building, and while these guys were out here, I like made as much noise as possible essentially in this building, because like I set up a bomb and I threw a bottle, and the guy walked as I threw the bottle. I got the bomb ready. I rolled it out in front of him. He's like, holy and he splattered all over the place, and all these other guys come running, and I'm out of the building and gone.
Yeah.
So,
and also like playing as Ellie feels completely different. Like she moves faster than Joel. She's a lot more agile than he is,
and she can go places where he can't.
It's pretty cool. It was really fun playing this part. And eventually you make it into like a ski lodge, and you're trying to get back, and that's when David shows up and grabs you.
You've got out the front, and he just grabs you and
like you're struggling, and he's like, I'm trying to save your life, and then knocks you out.
So you wake up in a cage,
and you see the young guy who'd been with David like
chopping up a body.
Chopping up like a person, like cutting an arm off and everything, and you're just like, oh fuck. At which point David comes in to talk to you, and he's like what is your name? Like, tell me your name. And she's like, I'm not telling you shit. He's like, look, I'm trying to make it easier on the other people to convince them. Convince them of what? To let you join us. And then she's like, why do you want me to, like, what? And then he's like, he like reaches in and like grabs her hand through the bar. He's like, because you're special. And she's just like, oh. So she like puts her hand on his, and then just breaks his
finger.
Yeah, breaks his thumb. And he's like, oh, motherfucker. And she's like, by the way, it's Ellie. What? It's Ellie. You can tell them that's the name of the girl that broke your fucking hand.
Basically she had mentioned like that he's gonna cut her up in tiny little pieces.
Yeah.
And
he's like, what do you say, tiny little pieces? And he just walks off.
Yeah.
Oh, any game with some pedophile cannibals in it, it's good stuff. At which point
Joel wakes
up. He's like, Ellie, and you get up and you're still like really fucked up. So you're like, ugh. And he's like constantly, ugh, and he's like kind of stumbling, like he's not walking very well.
Yeah, because he just literally came down from a fever.
Yeah, and there's the last people who like Ellie had rode past on the horse,
and they're
like,
still looking for you.
But they're also kind of retreating and like going back to their base.
Mm-hmm.
But you start killing your way through them, and it's great because I got to the point where like, where the fuck is he? And then like after like I hid and like was starting to sneak up and getting closer to this group, and they're just like, fuck it, let's just get further out of here. And they just turn and run. I'm like, oh. So I keep sneaking up. Then it switches back to Ellie, and they're going to cut her up. They drag her out of the cage, and she bites David. He's like, son of a bitch, and they throw her like on the table. And they're gonna cut her up to eat her, and he's like, wait, I'm infected. He's like, bullshit, like you've been locked up here for longer than it would take you to turn. She's like, no. He pulls up her sleeve and shows him. He's like, no. He's like, that's right, and I bet you're infected too. He's like, ah. But as like they're freaking out about this, she grabs a machete and like right to the face.
Yeah, of what's his face,
the
young guy.
And then she like runs and gets out of there. Meanwhile, like a blizzard has started, so like there's snow blowing everywhere and you can't see very well. But you get outside and all you have is your knife. And so you're like sneaking through their compound, and you're like, I gotta get a gun. So you gotta like sneak through and like kill one of the guys and get his gun from him. The first guy I killed, I got a revolver from him with one bullet in it. I'm like, really?
Yeah, and like you'll find bricks and bottles and stuff, but you don't really find anything substantial until you get...
Yeah, because you don't have Joel's strength, so you can't like just bash a guy's face in with a brick.
Yeah, you can throw it at them and then jump on their back and stab them to death, but that's as close as you're gonna get.
Yeah, so you're sneaking around and you sneak through and keep killing people.
Yeah, I got caught so many times walking around, like, because I couldn't see them, like, in the snow.
It's so hard. And like you can't really listen either because...
It's snowing already.
Yeah, there's just like this like driving wind. So you can't really see or hear until you like at one point, like I got this guy, I was so impressed, where like thought it's like, is that a guy standing there? Like I could just like barely see like an outline of something. So I'm just like, bow, thump. And it's like, I don't see that shadow anymore. I go up, it's like, yep. And I shot him like in the mouth. I'm like, yes.
Most of the time, I'd be walking through the blizzard, and some guy would be like, there she is! And I'd be like, fuck! And I just run to the closest building and hide and sneak through and past. And then there was one point where I think this is on the way through, you sneak into like a toy store or arcade, yeah. There's 3 guys on the other side, and they come searching the building. I took them all out with my knife. Like, I had to, because like I kept trying to sneak through, and it wasn't working, and I kept getting killed because they'd shoot me to death. If
they grab her, like, it takes her longer to struggle away from them than it takes Joel. So if someone's, like, if you're doing that while someone else is seeing you and they're shooting you, it's like, you're dead.
Pretty much.
You're going to die. Like, even if you don't die when that happens, you're probably so close that one guy's just going to walk up and be like, boom! I'm just like, yep, and out.
Yeah, because when you get punched by them, you fall to the ground. It's not like Joel where you just take it. But anyway, you get past there and you finally get into, and you find your backpack.
Yep.
So...
No.
Oh, no, you don't.
No, you end up in, like, because, like, you start, like, freezing. And, like, you... Like, she actually starts going, like...
So she goes into...
Yeah, and you get inside into, like, a kitchen of, like, a little restaurant.
Yeah.
And then in comes David.
Yeah, as soon as you try to go out the door, David comes in.
Yeah, bursts through. And so, like, you run away. And he, like, knocks over something and starts the place on fire. Like, I'm gonna get you. And you sneak up behind him and stab him. He's like, ah! And, like, throws you off. And, like... you both get knocked out.
And there's glass on the floor here, so if, like, in certain areas, so if you are sneaking around and he's trying to find you and you walk over the glass, he'll run up and try to, know where you are.
You have to stab him 3 times, and each time he does something different afterwards. Like, the first time he's basically just, like, walking
He's more
around.
and more cautious.
Yeah, and, like, the last time he's moving fast and constantly crouching, so he's, like running around.
Yeah.
And I died a lot here, because if he gets up to you, he'll basically be like, impale with a machete! I kept trying to actually, like, listen, and that takes so long. He's moving around and making so little noise. Like, I don't see him. Where's... But you have to, like, stop that. You have to, like, move. You have to try and, like, make sound to draw him, like, get out of there, but get to a place where you can actually see around so you can see where he comes.
Yeah.
And then, like, wait for him to move somewhere and try to get behind him. But even then, like, he, like, looks around him a lot. So you have to wait until he's, like, right by something, so it's really easy for you to dodge, like, right in there.
He'll jump around a corner real quick, and that's how I got him. Like, I saw him, like, running around in, like, the lower area, and I'm like, okay, I can get him. So I snuck down there, and I almost got caught by him, because I was, like, going around a corner, and he was right there about to dodge out, so I'm like, poof, and I went right around, and as he dodged out, I, like, got on him and stabbed him, and that was the last one, so then it cuts to Joel.
Yeah, and so he's gotten closer, and the storm's running, and like he's like walking through. This was awesome because at the point where I got impaled, I had just picked up a fire axe as my weapon, so I still had that. So basically, I'm like walking through this driving snow, like, and like some guys like, "What?" Like just basically just walk up because they can't see very well, and this guy just turns like, "What the fuck?" I'm like, like right in the neck, just keep going. He's like, "Really?" It's awesome.
Yeah, and he's just pissed off at this point. He just like wants her back. So he found her backpack and stuff.
Yeah, he finds her back. Like he finds this one room and it's full of a whole bunch of stuff. And he finds her backpack. There, I was like, "What's her backpack?" And he goes into the next room.
And it's like hanging corpses.
Yeah, there's like hanging corpses in their meat locker. He's like, "Oh no!" And you go out and then you see the
building on fire.
Yeah, the restaurant, and like half of it is just fully like lit up and burning.
And you can hear Ellie scream or something
and
like
that. And then
that.
it switches back to Ellie. And well, no, because she's unconscious.
Right. She got knocked out because he knocks her out.
So he's just like heading towards it. And then like you wake up and like you and David are laying there and you see your knife is like.
No, it's the machete.
Was it? No, I think it was your knife.
No, it's the machete.
Was it the machete?
Yep.
No. Was under a table, so you like start crawling over to it, and as you get closer, eventually like David had gotten out, he just like kicks you in the stomach. He's like, "It's okay if you give up, but you just keep crawling." He's like, "All right." And he starts beating you, like Nick flips you over and like gets on top of you.
Mm-hmm.
And then Joel shows up. Things go badly for David.
Well, David, is already like.
Right? No.
Yeah, because she's hacking the shit out of him with the machete. Like she somehow, I can't remember what she does.
I don't remember how she gets on top of him. I thought it was Joel hit him or something.
No,
because Joel comes in afterwards.
Yeah, and he stops her.
Yeah, I can't remember. Like she like grabs it, but I can't remember how. But anyway, she gets on top of him. And then basically just like...
Yeah, she's just hacking the shit out of David.
And then
Joel stops her.
And Joel comes in and she's like, "Get off me." He's like, "No, it's me. And then she kind of starts freaking out.
Yeah.
Because, she just had gotten kidnapped by a creepy pedophile cannibal. Addis holds her. And then the music, and he's saying something, but like there's no dialogue here, just you see him like saying something to her and the music's playing. And then... spring, and they're just getting off of the highway, in Salt Lake City, like on the interstate towards the hospital.
And Ellie's really quiet now.
Yeah,
she's either going through some post-traumatic stress or she's just kind of getting weirded out by Joel.
You're going, and run into some giraffes.
Yeah. But Joel's talking about like teaching her how to do stuff and all this stuff after the things are over.
When they get back and how they're going to go and live with Tommy and
she's
his
like,
place.
"Oh yeah, that sounds nice." Like she's
just
just really quiet and
he's like, "Is anything wrong?" She's like, "No." It's like, "Oh, okay." And like he'll keep saying stuff. Like at one point, you want her to come over and boost her up to get a ladder down. He's like, "Ellie, get over. I'm going to give you a boost." Ellie, like you're saying there, like just stand up like Ellie. She just sitting down like, "What? Get over here." Oh, okay. And yeah, then you run into some giraffes, and you get to pet a giraffe.
Doesn't sneeze on you.
and you make your way to, you see the hospital, and you're getting really close to the hospital. You just have to go under a underpass to get there. It's full of you fight a bloater. There's a bloater.
And some clickers.
He's like, "Yeah, this is a fight. Okay, I got this. I got a full tank on my flamethrower that I found."
Yeah, you find a flamethrower at the university, by the way.
Yeah.
That thing's awesome.
Yeah, so I go through. I was like, "Yeah, I did that. Oh, it was an awesome fight. All right." And go over the next bus. It's like 2 bloaters and like a bunch of clickers. Like, no, just south. We're sneaking by.
Yeah.
Not happening.
I managed to take out a bunch of them, but I didn't have enough stuff to do it. So I just threw bottles and just thought that hopefully that would just go away.
Yeah, and then you sneak by, and then finally, like, you're getting really close. You have to do a bunch of puzzle solving and get through. And then you get to an underwater part, and so you're climbing across a bunch of, like, the water is moving really quickly here, and you're, like, climbing across the roofs of vehicles to get there. And then you're climbing across a bus, and it, like, shifts, and Joel falls through the bus into it. And, like, it's like he's, like, getting knocked around. It's like sliding around so that the current shifts, so it's going down, and so like you're hanging, like climbing your way like up the seats of the bus, and then like the one like metal rung that you get snaps, you go flying back to the back again.
Yeah.
And then Ellie's like right on the top, like trying to knock it open so you can get out.
And eventually the bus flips over and...
Yeah, and she gets knocked out.
Yeah.
And then so you're swimming underneath and like you find her like unconscious body and like grab her and like drag her out.
And start giving her CPR and
Yep.
then the fireflies find you.
Yep. And they're like, put your hands in the air. Like, fuck you. And just keeps doing CPR.
Yeah, she's not breathing.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, hands up. And he just ignores them and then they just knock him out and take them away.
Though unfortunately it was movie CPR. Here's the thing. Movie CPR. Live, damn it. Real CPR.
Well, it's not even that. You have your arms like straight out like this.
Yeah,
and
it's
you're
the
just,
way you do
you're
it.
using
You have to
weight.
put your whole...
And
but also the speed.
It's supposed to be 15 quick compressions and then 2 breaths, repeat 5 times, then check for breath, repeat.
Or just straight compressions.
Yeah, depending on
because
what it is.
If you don't do the breaths right and don't tip their head back correctly, you don't breathe into their lungs, you breathe into their stomach, and then they'll probably puke.
Yeah.
That's not helping anything. That's a minor thing, because CPR, in anything that shows CPR, is wrong.
Yeah, I don't understand why they can't. Okay, whatever. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Same like chalk outlines. I ever see a chalk outline where there's a body, it's like, no, they don't do that! That's not a thing!
Anyway, they're back at the Firefly HQ.
Yep.
And Miranda's there. Or is it Miranda?
No.
No, it's not Miranda. Sorry.
Shepard.
um,
I don't even remember her name now.
it starts with M.
Yeah. Whatever, the leader of the Fireflies.
Yeah,
And she'd lived and she'd actually gotten there ahead of you. But she lost like most of her squad getting there. And she's like, we didn't think we'd ever see you. Good work.
Because this is like a year later.
Yeah. It was almost a full year they were traveling. Yeah. She's like, yeah, we're prepping her for surgery now. He's like, surgery? He's like, yeah, they're going to, they need to get out
a sample or
the
whatever.
sample of the fungus because it's mutated in her. It's different, so they can study that. And he's like, fungus grows in the brain. And then she's quiet. And he's like, no. She's like, I don't like it either. I promised her mom I'd look after her. They wanted me to just straight up kill you, and I didn't let them do that. So okay, like we're gonna escort you out of the building, and you can go.
Yeah, and she's like, I don't like this either. And he's just like, yeah, but
you keep telling yourself.
You keep telling yourself that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's necessary.
Which I kind of agree with her. For the betterment of mankind, it's kind of a thing, but
no, maybe.
Like it's maybe. It's not a 100% guarantee.
Yeah, it's. This could potentially lead to a cure. This will definitely kill Ellie.
Joel goes into...
Also, Joel as a person, don't think he really cares about mankind.
Yeah, that's
He cares
true.
about Ellie.
So...
And also, at this point, like, you know, he spent the whole time, like, not wanting to care about anyone, not giving a shit about anyone, rather than just everyone dies so he doesn't have to care about them. One person he cared about was Tess. She died. And then finally, like, over time, he finally actually... really starts to care for Ellie, and now she's gonna die.
Yeah, because basically he starts calling her baby girl, and...
He doesn't take this well.
No. So anyway, he's being escorted out by one soldier, and you think that's enough? Nope.
Yeah, so he just, like, stops. The soldier's like, what? Pushes him, so he just, like... Bam.
Yeah.
It's the old, if you're pointing a gun at someone, don't be close enough that they can grab it.
So anyway, he gets him against the wall, and he has the pistol against his, like, guts. Yeah, and he's just like, where is the surgery? I don't have time for this.
Bang!
Shoot!
He's like, where is the guy? Soldier's like, bang! He's like, fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, just full-on Jack Bauer interrogation going on.
Guts on the ground, shoots him in the head,
yeah.
Walks on.
And then you proceed to kill all of the Fireflies to make your way to Ellie. This is hard as shit because they have automatic weapons.
Yeah, you get them. You get an automatic weapon. You get an M16 or whatever, an M18.
But the thing is, like, if one of them sees you and like has a shot, like, you're pretty much dead because of like, and like even if you don't die, you like stumble back because you've been shot multiple times with a rifle. Yeah. And then they just put another burst into you, and they keep doing that until you die.
Which happens.
Yeah. What I really liked in this part was the bow and arrow. I had one point where, like, it was a part where, I don't know, near the end of one section, like, there was, like, one guy left, but then as I got close, like, 4 more guys, like, came into the area. It's like, as one walked, it's like, arrow, dead. And the other guy's like, what the fuck? They started coming out and looking, and he comes out, like, dead. Another guy's like, son of a bitch! Dead. But the other ones didn't keep coming.
Yeah.
Eventually, they started going around the other one.
I used a lot of, like, nail bombs.
Yeah, and anything that is quiet and or from a distance like that. The automatic rifle's okay, but
Not for this situation.
Yeah, they are armored, so it's going to be kind of hard to take them out with it.
Rifle with armor-piercing rounds would be okay, but...
Yep. I used up every shot I had left. Actually, that's how... Right when you're getting there, where there's the long hallway, yeah, I basically, like, from the very edge, it's like, start peeking around, it's like, there's a guy, bang! There's a guy, bang! And I had 6 shots left, 6 headshots. Yes.
I started using smoke bombs and then running away, so I just throw out a smoke bomb, and they'd all run towards it and be like, what the fuck? And I'd just be like, run.
So eventually you get there, and then she's prepped for surgery, and they're just about to start, and there's like 2 nurses and the surgeon. And the surgeon like grabs a scalpel, is like, I won't let you there, and what do? Because me, as soon as he started talking, I just like with my revolver, just like bang, shoot him right in the face, and the 2 nurses are like, oh my god!
You monster!
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I went up to him, and he doesn't do anything when you get close, and I was just like, well, I don't want to kill him because he's important. And
I didn't even
like,
let him finish talking. Like, he's like, I won't let you get near. Like, I think that's all he got out, and then I'm just like, bang, right in the face.
See, this part kind of made me feel like a little uncomfortable just because I'm just like, well, this guy is like one of the only doctors. It's like, I don't want to kill him, so I just shot him in the leg, he's dead. I'm just like, damn it, no matter where you shoot him, he dies. But if you walk up to him and you hit, I guess, triangle or whatever, you take his scalpel and you fucking jam it into his face. But anyway, you get in there.
I did leave the 2 nurses alive. I thought that was me being nice.
Yeah.
Kill you guys.
Now you're carrying Ellie around.
Yeah. So this is kind of a callback to the start of the game where you're running around carrying your daughter. And yeah, you just grab her and you're running.
And you can't do anything.
Yeah, other than carry her. And you're just running and they're following, so you just keep running and you get into an elevator.
And then sometimes...
And all of a sudden you're like, come on, I'm going to get you out of here. It's going to be alright.
She's at the bottom of the elevator.
Yep, the leader of the Fireflies is down there. And she's like, pointing the gun, is like, I can't let you take her. She's like, I understand, but it's just... We need her, and like, you know, just this is what she'd want, like, and then like, you know, Joel kind of makes a face. She's like, you know that, don't you? He's like, I don't care. I'm getting her out of here. And then it cuts to Joel driving away in a car.
Yeah, and you don't know whether Ellie's
just sitting there driving, and then you hear like, yeah, fuck you. You hear like, what? Why am I wearing this? It's like, and he tells her about how it was no good when they got her there. They'd actually found like about a dozen other people who had been immune like her, but it didn't matter. They hadn't been able to get a cure from them. It's pointless. Like, it's good for you. You're immune, but it doesn't matter. And in fact, they've basically stopped looking at this point. And so they're driving off. And then it has a flashback to how
Marlene.
Yeah, she's going to like grab Ellie and you shoot her in the gut with your revolver and like go to leave.
So you put Ellie in the back of a car, and then you walk back up to her, and she's like, no, please,
like, no,
just let me live.
Just let me go. He's like, you just try to find me. Bang!
Yeah, just shoots her in the head, because he's a fucking psychopath. He's soulless.
So then it's you get out of the car, you know, the engine fails, but you're like right near, like you're a few miles out of Jackson. And so you get out and you're walking through the jungle, and at this point you're not playing as Joel anymore, you're playing as Ellie. As you walk through the woods. Then you get in sight of the town, and she turns to Joel and tells him about how she was with her best friend when they got infected. And they decided to just say, screw it, and just wait and turn, just wait it out.
Go mad together.
Yep. And that she did, and her friend, she stayed fine, and her friend turned. And how, like all she wanted, basically she was saying that, like, what you told me about the Fireflies, like, is it true? Because I would have died to find a cure. And he's like, it's true. She's like, okay then. Yeah, swear to me that every word you said about the Fireflies was true. He turns like, I swear.
And she's like, okay. Basically, she really just doesn't really believe Joel that much, but because she knows that, you know, he cares for her and he thinks of her as his daughter now. The ending was pretty satisfying in my opinion. Mm-hmm. It left it at an awkward moment with them, but that's really the only thing that was left to really say.
Yeah, I can see, like, a lot of it, like, it'll come down to, like, I can't see anyone disliking it, but that won't mean that they like the ending. They'll like the game, I think, and the story it told, but, I mean, I can see people just straight out hating Joel and hating his decision.
But, I mean, as long as you understand the character, then you understand why the ending happened.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just one of those things. And under those circumstances where, like, he went through so much shit, and he finally has something good to attach himself to, you can't like in a world like that, you just don't want to let that go. So
Oh, I'd probably make the same decision. I'd pick someone that I know over the potential of possibly saving humanity. Because, I mean, first of all, look at what humanity was then, and all like say you saved it, and then the hunters of Pittsburgh could go back to normal lives. Would they?
no,
Yeah.
there's no way.
So, what's really going to happen here?
Yeah.
You're going to have a bunch of psychopaths and murderers who are willing to do anything who now just are immune to the fungus spores. Also,
Well,
I mean, even if you did set up society, if you look at society now, most people are fucking useless and idiots. I'm on Team Joel.
Team Joel. Nothing's guaranteed, so I don't know.
Except that there's a guarantee that he could save Ellie.
He's a killing machine.
Yeah, if you need to murder people really gruesomely, Joel.
Great game.
Mm-hmm. Every single thing.
There's a point to everything. Every character is important at some point, and all the small interconnected stories are great. It's a great game. But like one of the best stories in a game that I've ever experienced, and some of the most interesting game mechanics.
Certainly never been a game that has been this good on the gameplay side and this good on the story side together. Like the closest would probably be, I don't know, whatever your favorite Metal Gear game is.
This game is also one of those games where both of us experienced this pretty much simultaneously. It's like, once we finish playing it, we just like, let's play again. That doesn't happen for very many games, if any. In the multiplayer, I got a chance to sit down and actually play that a little bit. It's only good if you got good players on your team. If you have a shitty team that doesn't work together, then you're gonna lose all the time. So
That's most
multiplayer games. So
Yeah.
that is our talk through of The Last of Us. Thank you for watching. Please hit that like button if you liked the video. Leave a comment below if you have something to add or say about the game or our video. And if you really liked everything, please hit that subscribe button. And hopefully we'll catch you again next time.